All right, so this is the time of every meeting where I usually introduce a speaker, and today I get to introduce quite a few of them. We're going to have some short little talks because everything that you want to know about the North Springfield Betterment Association is coming at you today. We could never start one of these without the great teacher, Terry Alcorn. I asked him to come and give us a little bit of history. He did this last year and I think even the year before, and I'm like, will he ever run out of stuff to talk about? Well, no, he won't. And I'll tell you why. And I asked him to bring every book that he has from every piece of paper he's ever written on, because there's stacks, but he didn't bring those along, so that'll knock you down to a B instead of an A. But it's a very good visual, and he does bring those into the board meetings, and I just love that. So we're going to start off with Terry, and after Terry, we're going to have King. So King, you're on deck.
If I really brought what I have, I'd have to bring a suitcase and roll it in here. So, been around a long time, and you know, I was a classmate with our state representative. We were the same graduating class, and I was the principal for Bob Dixon. So I got all kinds of stories. And I won't tell him, Bob, okay? But anyway, so we get together, and we've done this several years, different times, where we talk about what we do. And so I was racking my brain, okay, we do this stuff a lot the same. So I decided, okay, I'm a teacher. I still teach one class, and I'm a history major. Or my master's is in ancient history, but I teach, this is my 31st year to teach U.S. history at BBC, besides the other things that I do. So what we do in history is we give tests. And so we have a trivia test today. That's what this is about. I'd like you to kind of follow along, see how much you might know. I'm going to ask the current board members to stand. They should know this stuff, right? They're board members.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Terry.
So this is just a fun thing. Though one of them I forgot to put on here. I meant to, and I forgot it. And there's a couple typos. I did this late because I didn't think this till yesterday. So about the way to do this, I was gathering stuff. I read a lot of material, and there are certain things I get stuck on, and I think at times they're ready to kick me out. You know, one of those things that I didn't do on here that I get stuck on is our south boundary.
I knew it.
Okay. What's our south boundary? Board? What's our south boundary?
I think it's moved.
It has moved.
NSBA south boundary?
South boundary for NSBA.
I thought it was Sunshine.
No, it was College Street.
Yeah, I was going to say college.
Yeah. But we moved it south a little bit. Walnut. We wanted to include the Walnut art projects and stuff, years ago, so we made it Walnut Street. And so when we talk about schools and that we're going to support, and we get hung up on those boundaries, I'm the one that brings it up a lot, when our south boundary is. So let's just go through some of these, okay? When was NSBA organized? Anybody? Okay. 1970, right. We spent, if you've been here at all last year, you should know that, because we spent all year talking about how we couldn't have our 50th anniversary celebration. We talked about it all the time. Okay, where was the first meeting held to discuss the beginning of the NSBA? Cox Hospital, First City Bank, Hamby's Restaurant, or Hers Mezzanine? First City Bank. The first meeting when they met to talk about having the meeting, and I have to kind of think up these other ones like Hamby's and Hers. I haven't thought about those places for a while. So, now this is one that you've heard a lot because it comes up a lot. Who was the first president of the NSBA? Ralph Slavens, right. Okay, the first regularly scheduled meeting was held at which restaurant? The Missouri Hotel Restaurant, Sycamore Inn, Imperial Arms Restaurant, or the Village Inn? Good guess, but no, that's one I thought up. So, the Imperial Arms Restaurant is where the first regularly scheduled meeting was. Just another little side note.
Where was that?
I think it was down on St. Louis Street. So, I think, but I don't know for sure, because I was still in high school with you, Bill, at that time. So, one of the things that was interesting to me, though, is that for a while, I have an uncle that's in the restaurant business, and he managed the Missouri Hotel Restaurant. I mean, when I was like in junior high, And I don't know if everybody knows this, but in the basement, there's a bowling alley. And it's the only place I've ever been where they had a hand-set pins. Where I go down there and watch the guy, he would set up on a board behind the pins, and they'd knock over, he'd get down and reset the pins and things. So there is a, I don't know if it's still there. Greg, is it still there, do you know?
I don't know if it's still there or not, but I think the first guy who handset him was Dad.
Really? That makes sense. That would be helpful.
It's still there. It's, last I knew, it was full of stuff. but
Yeah, full of
I
junk,
know it's-
okay. Right. Jackie says his last thing you know it was still there, so, okay. The main speaker at the first NSBA meeting was Carl Stillwell. What public office did Mr. Stillwell hold? Mayor, correct. During the first year that NSBA existed, Greene County Sheriff presented a program on drugs and crime. Who was sheriff of Greene County at that time? Mickey Owen, better known for Major League Baseball catcher. Okay, where was the first anniversary of the banquet held? Colonial Inn, Howard Johnson's, Denny's, or Holiday Inn? Good guess, but wrong. Holiday Inn, the first anniversary banquet was held there. The NSBA awarded the first beautification awards plural, at the first anniversary banquet. How many awards were presented at that banquet? No? 8. 8. We don't know who they are. I can't find any record of that because I don't. The next one tells us this: the first beautification award that we have the name of the recipient recorded was given in November of 1989. So we didn't have very good records for quite a while. Which establishment received that award? The airport, Northtown Mall, Missouri Neon, or Drury University? No? No? Missouri Neon with their building on East Kearney, or West Kearney. So, as part of the beautification award program, a lot of people will probably know this. NSBA used to receive something from Cox Hospital to be redistributed to Northside businesses at a later date, and once in a while they were used for residential as well. What did NSBA receive from Cox? Tulip bulbs. We used to get the tulip. Remember, Cox had all the tulips everywhere. They would dig them up, and we would store them during the winter time and then pass them out in the spring. It's one of the beautification things that we did that really was helping beautify the city, North Springfield. And so Cox had a great partnership with us on that one. And I can remember trying to find places to store those things and stuff, and then put them in little sacks and hand them out to people. In May of 2010, the name Beautification Award changed to Betterment Award. Can you name the first recipient of the Betterment Award? This is one of my things. You guys remember? Okay, Kim, what was it?
Oh, well, it was the beautification award.
It was Beautification Award. We changed it to Betterment
Betterment.
because of this.
Yes, and I can't, I wish we had.
Okay. No? FedEx. Because this is where I got stuck on a deal, because it was beautification. And we had beautiful trees and grass there, and then FedEx came and we have 300 garage doors. And so, were we glad they came? Yes, we're glad they came. And we decided we ought to change the name because it's not necessarily more beautiful, but it did improve our community. And Betterment's the name of our organization. That's how we came up with the name Betterment Award, and that was one of my little pet things that I got on and didn't get off of. So that's why I thought
I
you
was
might.
president then, I can.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. See, I'm surprised they still want me around. Okay, this one I have to get my notes out on because so make sure I get the right schools. Okay, then. In 1997, the NSBA launched the pilot program in 6 schools that led to the NSBA attendance program. How many of the schools can you name? A couple of the schools are closed now, but what? No. No.
Watkins,
No.
Williams,
Williams.
Robertson,
Robertson. What else? No.
Campbell.
Bowerman. No, Camel's on South Camel. That was another time we got stuck.
Right, right. Where we kind of moved.
Yeah. It's across from Southside Baptist Church.
Oh,
No, South Camel is. Okay, so we have Bowerman, you said Robertson and Williams? No? Truman wasn't around back then. Now, one of these has been renovated and is significant. No. It's not a school anymore, but it's Fairbanks. Yeah, Fairbanks is one. Bissett was one, and Shady Dell. Okay, so those are the first 6 schools that we did in the attendance program that grew to a big thing, and so just kind of fun to think about that. Then, well, I'm almost finished. I probably have taken more time than I was supposed to. Write down different fundraising endeavors that NBS has used to raise funds for the attendance program. Okay, let's start hearing some. Chili supper we did a long time.
Silent auction.
Silent auctions we've done a long time.
Recess at the park.
Recess at the park. The balloons, the hot air balloon thing that we tried. Yeah. Okay. Some other pretty significant ones. The Expo Exchange we did.
Oh, yeah.
The business exchange we did for a while. I don't know if anybody said golf tournaments. We used to sponsor golf tournaments. And, of course, you're right, Bill, about that. We had Darcy, we did a bike ride one time. And, of course, we do for grants and rotations, and we had a trivia night one time. And then, most recently, our biggest fundraiser has been the Christmas party that we've done. So those are things that we've done to try to raise funds, because it seems like you have to change all the time to get what you need to do. Okay, Nate has been an important part of the attendance program because he is always in school and he is never late. Who gave us Nate?
Who gave us Nate?
Who gave us Nate? Well, the idea and everything.
Miss Rippey.
Yes, Kim Rippey thought up this idea of Nate, and it was a project for a college class that she was in, and we went with it, and it worked well. And I've been Nate a few times, and one time I was Nate at Sonic on Commercial Street, and Rita was with me at that time.
Another fundraiser.
Yeah, that was another fundraiser, Sonic, and it was amazing because this old man's in this Nate costume, and the teenage girls are coming up and flirting like crazy with me. I'm telling you, it was funny because I'm thinking, if you knew how old this guy was in this, you would be running instead of standing here flirting with this guy, that was in this costume. So I've been to Nate at Christmas parties before too. So
We like to say Kim is Nate's mom.
yes,
And her mother was Nate's grandmother. Kim came to my house with a little doll her mother had made with orange loofahs for hair.
My little boy was redheaded.
Yes.
It was my project.
And she said, I got to figure out how to make this in print, and then I want to get a costume made. So it just went
yeah.
from there.
And your son's been Nate.
Yes.
So-
And Leroy Schaefer from Sunbelt purchased both of the Nate costumes because one we had to replace because
Right.
it gets old in use.
Yeah. So anyway, Nate's been a big part of what we do. He's kind of the face of what we do, really. So, who is the person that has served the longest as an NSBA board member and/or officer?
Carry on.
No, there's the one other.
Judy.
Judy Spencer. Judy Spencer was the first record that I have was that she was treasurer in 1985. She is vice president from 91 to 92. Sometimes there's some gaps that we may not know have everything. She was in public relations from 1994 to 95. She was secretary from 98 to 2000, and since 2004, she's been the treasurer for NSBA. And that's a lot of work, what she does. She's also been member of the board, I think, since 2007, the NSBF board that we have. So Judy has been a part of everything we've done, so. Okay, as part of the 40th anniversary celebration, we placed items from some of our elementary schools in a time capsule. Where did we have the time capsule placed? Okay, ladies, where do we have it placed? For the top of the historic City Hall. It was a pretty neat ordeal when we did that. Okay, so this is the one that until I talked to some people earlier, I don't think anybody would get this one right. I found this in some early minutes not in the whole board's meetings, but in a committee meeting. I found this just this past week. In some early minutes, we have recorded a suggested time to retrieve that capsule. What is that time which was suggested but not approved? Okay?
So did I.
No, I found in notes where they said, we'll look at it at the 80th anniversary of NSBA. That's
That's not
40 years. That was not approved, okay? Because we're probably all gonna be dead, so.
I think that was a typo.
No, it was handwritten.
Oh.
That's handwritten notes that I found, so. So, anyway, I thought, no, that's one that nobody will know. Okay? The 50th, the 10 years, so that's why last year we were gonna get it down and do it at our big celebration. So, and
Which is
bring,
happening this year at some point.
right, we're gonna do that sometime this year, so. Who's the current NSBA president? We should all know that, because we announce it every meeting, okay? It's Jackie. And who is the person that served as NSBA president immediately before Jackie served? Marcy, right, okay.
Well, Terry had all those notes, I have these. Foundation exists for the purpose of providing a vehicle so that when donations are given to or wanted to be given to money to the NSBA, the people giving those donations would be able to funnel that through a not-for-profit agency. And so that's why we do have a foundation. We're the quiet group. We meet 4 times a year. We don't have a lot of business other than trying to raise money by looking for grants or other ways to generate income, plus the donations from our membership each year. So there currently right now are 6 of us on the foundation. We can have up to 9. We need a secretary, so if you feel that you could provide 4 meetings a year, let me know, because we definitely need that position filled. It's not very time consuming. You do the minutes for those quarterly meetings, and that's about it. So, but without the foundation, the money for the association has a hard time existing, and it doesn't provide that fair tax benefit to you all for the generous donations that you guys make through the year. So we're not, like I said, we're low profile, but we do need to exist just for the benefit of making sure that this organization has as much funding as possible. If you know people or businesses that would like to make donations, they can certainly send them in through the foundation, and then they're available for the association to use for our different programs. So we're quiet but happily here. If you have time and would like to be on the foundation, please let me know. Thank you.
First of all, let me say welcome. Even in kind of how things have been tight, I'm talking about with COVID and stuff and attendance, this is an incredible number of people. And I was standing there and thinking of people that I'm not seeing that are normally here. So, I mean, thank you for coming. Definitely want to be safe. So I chair the Betterment Awards, and generally we do look for a residential where they have done some improvement to the property, and it can be nominated by anybody. So really, residential a lot of times is a little harder to find. So, I'd encourage you, to be our eyes and ears. So if you see something and you see some work going on and think, hey, that's, looking really good, you can call me or Helen. Let me do this real quick. Helen and Rita, if you all would stand, we're on the committee together, and Terry actually goes and plants the signs in the yard or the location. So we're the committee basically. So any of us, if you see a residential, please approach one of us and we'll follow it up and see if it can work or not. We also do a business betterment, and that's the same. If there's an organization, a business, and it can be beautification. I mean, you will see places that have come in and they've remodeled or they've made it look better, but also from a business standpoint of community betterment. they're bringing some jobs into the community, onto the north side, or just their community service. We try to note that. And then this year, and I've done this a little bit in the past, but I would like to focus a little bit more on not-for-profits. Those organizations there's a lot of them on the north side that contribute to the betterment of the community, and would like to kind of focus on that as well. So keep your eyes and ears open. If you see some a residential or a business or a not-for-profit that you see that they're contributing to the north side, please reach out to one of us, and we'd love to investigate that, look into that, and possibly give them an award. The other thing is just if several of you I see just about every time, if you want to be have some involvement, if you'd like to be on this committee or any of the committees that are talking, approach one of us, and we'd love to share a little bit more with you, and love to have you help us out with that as well. So thank you.
All right, I'll start off talking about the islands, I guess, before I forget about it. So I don't know, I've been helping with that for a couple years now, I think. I don't see our fearless leader at the moment, but I don't know how long that's been going. That's been going for a couple decades at least, I think.
Probably 5, 6 years, maybe? Less than 10.
Really? Well, anyways, the city sent a letter to our leader, whose name escapes me at the moment. But anyways, just recognized in the spring, just said, hey, we appreciate what you're doing, and how you improve this area and keep it looking nice. So it's nice to have that recognition from city officials. But yeah, it's this intersection right up here at Glenstone and Kearney. Typically, we first meet probably in March, kind of clean it up, and then, we'll pull some stuff out or plant some stuff, and meet once a month or every other month, probably through October. Just try to keep it looking good. As far as what I was asked to talk about, so someone came up with the idea, and it was a good idea, about, hey, we need to revamp our school program in light of what's going on. I think that came up in July, and I decided we should do that, and somehow I decided to task that. So anyways, me, Jordan, Debbie, Rick, I guess I'm the only one still, but we've been talking about that pretty much ever since then. And, like everything, it's changed as we've gone down this road. But I just want to give you an update kind of where we're at today, and then maybe how you can get involved, because we're pretty close to actually doing something, which will be fantastic. So basically what we've heard from the schools, Courtney sent out an email, I sent out email to some people I know, and through that feedback, basically, the schools have said, hey, we appreciate what you've done through the years. What we could really use if you're looking at reshaping this is people actually coming alongside and helping the schools with goals that they're trying to do in the buildings. So I think this provides a really good opportunity for us for however long, this situation lasts, for us to really strengthen our partnership with the schools. So we've had specific requests from these 13 schools, we'll say. Not all 13 schools replied to our correspondence. Some of those items that we've had specific requests for, so this program's going in 2 different directions, basically. I should maybe try to give some clarity. I talked about it last time we met a little bit, but basically we're going to try to do something to where we continually have incentives that we're providing to that school so that they can help those kids and recognize them for goals that they're achieving within the schools. But what we've also heard from the schools is, hey, we've got some specific needs, and if there's a way that someone can meet these specific needs, that would help us a lot. So needs like, someone mentioned a costume, so this specifically was Watkins, Wildcat. Maybe some additional technology, some flashcards that they could send home with school, with the students. Maybe some recess equipment. They specifically said like colored recess equipment for grades levels. So I've got this list. I'm over here. If you want to look at this list and see maybe if there's something you would be interested in donating, or your business or company, whatever that might be, feel free to look over this and we can talk about that more. But there are some specific and unique opportunities to support those schools. We do foresee this program probably going through, I mean, we'll have to continue talking about it, but I'm sure it's going to last into next year too, because it's going to probably take a while for things to get figured out. What we specifically need, maybe from you guys, you're welcome to come on and be part of this conversation. We need some branding. We need to come up with something good to call this that, you know, we can say it here and everybody recognizes, hey, this is what we're talking about, but also just public facing. We need some branding, some, you know, slogans, stuff like that. We've talked about maybe doing a video to where we could just provide a video to the schools, again, that they could play maybe during an assembly or something, just to help us get out there and help us be in front of these students and build a little excitement about some things. We'll probably need some people to deliver items to schools. So if you live in a neighborhood with one of these schools, or you've already got a connection there, let us know that. And then we would also like to just be able to give some encouragement specifically to that school. So we're looking at doing some baskets, maybe for teachers. Maybe we provide one basket per school to where the principal or someone can just recognize a teacher or staff member in that manner. So if that's something you want to look at putting together, if you enjoy that stuff, you're good at that stuff, let me know. Just couple last things real quick. T-shirts were mentioned in that feedback pretty often. So specifically mentioned were like T-shirts if, you know, thanks for being a great student. Again, something they can recognize an individual student with. But something my school has done, so my kids have gone to Weaver. We're actually going to be changing schools, but my kids have gone to Weaver. Something we started doing in that school the past 2 or 3 years is we made it a goal that we would give a shirt to every kid in that school and staff member. And that's been really cool because we see the kids get behind this and they get some community. It's something for them to be excited about. They feel like they're a part of something. Typically the school says, hey, we're gonna wear these shirts on Fridays. So the kids kind of get excited about that. My youngest daughter would remind us every Thursday night that she had to wear her shirt on Friday. So that's a big goal, and you know that can cost some money. But if that's something you're interested in helping with, again, let us know. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy, for giving us that update. I have lists up here also of some of the specific requests that came in, and I know Brooke with Community Partnerships Caring Communities team was looking at the list and had already volunteered. There are some things that they think they can do. Some of these, as Andy said, are really simple, inexpensive flashcards. If you want to take a look at this list and see if you individually or your company could pick up some of these specific requested needs from teachers, principals, classrooms, that would be fantastic. What we really want to do here is answer their requests. We went to them and said, we can't have our attendance program because we can't get all the kids together. What can we do to still support you? And when they gave us feedback, I really appreciate it if we can follow up with that feedback and provide what they need. So please, if you think you are willing or able, you or your business, come up and see me or Andy. We have some specific requests that you could help fill.
All right. Now I get to talk to you a little more. So what I do with my partner in crime over here, Brent, we schedule in the speakers. One of the benefits many years ago when we did a SWOT analysis of our group one of the things that made us different at the time was we tried to bring in education, things that could be helpful, that's interesting, not a sales pitch, but some good things. You know, over the years, we've had the sheriff's department, the police department come in and talk about crime. We've had Heart Healthy, where we talked some about health. I think that we did that February of last year. IRS changes, business tax changes. We talked about how to be employee retention and recruitment, and of course, mental health, and then how to show gratitude, which was one of my favorites. And so we're always looking for speakers that can educate. We need to be, what I would like to do, actually, I'm glad I just remembered, I put the white cards on the table. And if you have a suggestion of something, whether it be somebody or a topic that you would appreciate hearing about, I would love for you to fill that out, and then Brent and I can look at that together, and then we'll take that to the board and get some speakers scheduled for the year. So thank you for that. And then last up, Jackie.
So, as everybody has got up and talked, we have talked about being board members. We talked about some of our committees. And we just want to invite you, if you want to get involved with NSBA, you don't have to be a board member to serve on one of our committees. We would love to have you and your help and your support on any of those committees at any time. So if you are a committee chair, please raise your hand so you can see any of us for those committees. I'm going to try to name them, and I'm going to miss some, but these committee chairs can help me. So we have a membership committee. We have the attendance project committee that Andy chairs. We have the betterment committee that Brent chairs. Communications committee that I chair, Marcy. The 50th anniversary, which is going to be the 50th and the 51st anniversary committee that Marcy chairs. Any I'm forgetting? The Glenstone Islands, that's Kevin Randall, and he is not here today, but Kevin Randall chairs that committee, and he kind of brings people together, as Andy was saying, to schedule going out and weeding those islands in the median, planting, et cetera. So if doing outdoors type stuff is your thing, Kevin would be glad to have you. Yes, every board member is part of the fundraising committee, really, and our membership. So if you want to jump in and get involved, we need some creative ways to raise funds, especially after the year we have all experienced. Nonprofits are really struggling in the fundraising area. So I encourage you to support all of your nonprofits. But also, if you are interested in helping us figure out a way to raise funds, even though we can't have our big parties and celebrations like we normally do, we would love to have you on that committee as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, membership letters have gone out, and if you are new and would love to join us, see any board member, we can tell you how to do that. It's easy. It's $65. Is it $65? Yes, $65 for an individual. How much for a business membership? $75. Rita says $75. She probably knows. I don't. I haven't. Yes, and you can pay your year's worth of lunches ahead, which is new in the last couple of years that we've started doing that. So if your company pays for your lunches, you can pay ahead. Then you don't have to worry about it every time you come in. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for all the new people who are here. Yes, you. Go ahead.
Concerning the Community Betterment Awards, if you would release the bill here for a few minutes. You know, he is one of our own that we've elected. He's 131st District in this area, and he is pushing through legislation right now that's going to make a huge difference in Springfield, especially the north side. So I'm going to try to prop him up here. So would you tell us a little about the bill?
Yes, Bill, please. Go ahead.
I have introduced legislation at the request of the city to create a public community land trust. And what will happen is when the city gets these condemned properties, assuming they decide to go ahead and use this, that they can transfer it to this land trust, and we will have that staffed with people that do this for a living and know what questions to ask, and know what to look for in the financial statement and what have you, so that we know then when these properties are turned back over to individuals, that we've got qualified individuals that are in a position to rehabilitate these properties. I've asked Senator Huff to introduce this on the Senate side. He's agreed to do that, and between the two of us, hopefully we're gonna get this through. But that's, I think, what Greg was referring to, and one of the things that you'll be hearing about in your program. I encourage you to come Wednesday or in March and bring as many people as you can to hear Richard, because this really can make a big impact. If we revitalize the neighborhoods, if we bring people with disposable income back into the neighborhoods, the retailers will benefit, and more retailers will come in, and we'll see Kearney Street and all these areas flourish as you do in other parts of the town. And that's the key component, is getting these neighborhoods revitalized, where families want to move back into them, and a lot of wonderful things have happened. I took too much time, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. And before you leave, I want to connect you with some people, actually some people that are here before you go, that could probably be beneficial with that project. So I want to thank you all for joining us for our January 2021 meeting. Please, if you are not a member, consider joining us and supporting us, because we do great things to improve the quality of life in all of our community, not just North Springfield, but we especially focus on North Springfield because we are the gateway to the Ozarks. And we appreciate every single one of you being here and coming out to a meeting in person. And remember to stay safe. Thank you.